Well, good morning again, everybody, and thank you for joining us this morning. Hope everybody's having a great start to their week. We have a great presentation for you this morning. One of the most frequent questions we get here is, what's the best strategy for utilizing somebody's RMD? Whether the client's 50, 60, 70, or 80, this is a consistent question that comes up. And the honest answer is it depends on the client and how you utilize those clients' assets inside of a qualified plan are going to have a dramatic effect on the overall retirement for the client. So today, Tia is going to talk a little bit about what some of the options are, what some of the strategies you can utilize with qualified assets. It's a presentation that North American came out with called the RMD Puzzle, and I want to thank Tia for being here to give it to us. Tia Stanley is our regional vice president over at North American, and with that, I do want to let everybody know, by the way, since this is recorded, we're going to not take any questions. If you have questions, please write them down and give our account executives here a call afterwards, and we'll be happy to go through and answer any questions you may have. So with that, I'm going to hand control over here to Tia and let her go.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. All right, let me go ahead and get this started here. And again, good morning, everyone. My name is Tia Stanley. I'm the Sales Vice President here at North American Annuities, and I absolutely love working with Alpine. They're an absolutely perfect shop, and I enjoy my time with them. Now, one thing I just want to tell you guys real quick. I value your time. I've been an independent agent myself, and the material I'm going to go over, it's going to be not only informative, but it's going to be extremely turnkey for you. One thing that I find important above anything is efficiency. So anything I'm going to give you, I want to make sure that it's something that you can utilize in your practice as soon as you're done with the webinar. And the webinar today for the RMD puzzle, RMDs have been an extremely hot topic this year. And here's what I want to go over. I want to go over some statistics. I want to share some positioning when it comes to working with RMDs. And finally, I want to showcase a couple tools that we've created. And I tell you what, we've received some great feedback on them. And real quick, before we go ahead and dive into the rest of the webinar, here's what I want you to do. I want you to grab a piece of paper, grab a pen or a pencil, whatever you have around you. And as I'm going through the webinar, here's what I want you to do. I want you to start writing down client and prospect names that you want to talk to about their own personal RMD puzzle. And with that, I feel like I've given you a couple seconds there to grab a writing utensil and a piece of paper. So we're going to go ahead and start the webinar here. Here's how we'll start off. How many people were born between 1946 and 1964? This is a pretty big number. It's more than 75 million people. Now, this time period that I just referred to, it's for baby boomers, and they're starting to reach the RMD phase of their qualified retirement accounts. In the year 2017, that begins that phase for them. And here's an interesting estimate for you. There's going to be hundreds of billions of retirement dollars that are going to require RMDs to be taken. Now we know their time frame. Now we know that they have RMD needs. So I wanted to take a closer look at baby boomers in general. Here's where the statistics come into play that I had mentioned earlier. By 2030, all the boomers, they're going to be 65 plus years old. So they are all either currently looking towards or already at retirement age. Now, like I said on my previous slide, in 2017, the oldest people in this generation are looking at taking their first RMD. Now, real quick, let's just take a look at this slide and take a look at some interesting statistics here. The one that really pops out to me is in the upper right-hand corner, only 14% have a written strategy for retirement. That means the rest of the percentage of people, they need agents just like you to be able to go over their personal RMD puzzle. here's what I want to help you guys with. Help your clients see what fits where. You could potentially find new assets getting your clients into a North American product. And with enough notice, you could recommend an accumulation or a legacy focused product that can also check the RMD box. And maybe your clients are already taking RMDs, but they don't need the income and want some place to put it, or at the very least, you could show your value and help them consider the best possible use for their RMDs. That tax code has provided you with a recurring opportunity for client contact, which is kind of a unique way to think about this. With the tax status being qualified funds, you're probably going to be talking to them a little bit more than just their annual review. So today's purpose is to take a look at the RMD puzzle and how North American can help you and your clients minimize the effect of the RMD. So real quick, what is an RMD? We all know it. When do they have to take it? What's the magical age? What type of accounts? Well, the required minimum distribution means you must withdraw that requirement or that required withdrawal from your qualified retirement plan account when you reach the age of 70 and a half. Now, it seems like something we've all had beat into our brains for a really long time when you've been in the industry, but it's surprising that clients with qualified funds, they don't know that key fact, which, again, I always found surprising. So here's what I want to do. I want to take a look at a couple concepts that can help your clients maximize or get the most out of their RMDs. Now, one way to maximize a client's RMD is to generate income that's going to go beyond their RMDs. That's what I want to showcase to you here. So first, let's just set the scene. We're going to think about a specific situation here. Your clients were planning to be drawing income at 70 and a half anyway, and you know they'll need every bit of it to maintain their lifestyle in retirement. The client's 60 years old, so you have about 10 plus years to help them choose a product that's going to work for them. For us, the income choice, it's a fixed indexed annuity. It's got a built-in income rider at no additional charge, and that could be a perfect fit. Once income is turned on, really, I mean, it couldn't be any simpler. Your clients are going to have set up a guaranteed lifetime income. They can either choose level or increasing, and going about living really the retirement that they were wanting to. Let me go ahead and showcase this piece to you, benefit by planning ahead. For this example, you can enjoy a decade for the income choice benefits, and here's how the pieces fit. When I explain this, I explain it like a triple threat on the income account value. First, you get a 5% bonus. You get a compounding 2% roll up for a maximum length of 20 years. On top of those two guarantees I just mentioned, you have 150% stacking credit of the dollar amount of interest credited. And again, there's no rider charge. So when we're taking a look at this chart here from age 60 to 70 and a half, you've got two guarantees and some great potential that'll be working in the client's favor. And what I like about this product is the additional flexibility of no rider charge here. Now, let me just say real quick as we go over the nuts and bolts here. For me, I love knowing statistics. I love knowing concepts. When it comes to stuff that you can read off a highlight sheet in 20 seconds, that's not where I want to spend my time with you. So when I go over these charts, it's going to be extremely brief here. Again, our North American income choice product, it comes in two chassis, a 7 and a 10-year. Again, there's no fee when it comes to the rider that's automatically attached. So the name of the product, Income Choice, really sets the stage for why we built it. It provides that income guarantee for your client. And also, you have choices, like I mentioned before, if your client wanted a level or an increasing payment. And also, too, for the potential portion of that 150% stacking credit, it's nice that you've got a wide variety of index account options to showcase that. So let's think about it in a different direction here when it comes to RMDs. How about redirecting or diverting RMDs into a new annuity tailored to meet your client's evolving needs? Okay, I set the scene once before. And we're going to do it again. Scene 2. Here's the situation. Your client is currently taking RMDs to satisfy obligations under the law, but he doesn't need the income. He'd just as soon see it put back into another product, continue to work for him. That's really what he's looking for. He knows that he has to take them, but he'd rather have them accruing interest somewhere. RMDs may exceed the withdrawal amount that your clients are comfortable taking, but while RMDs are subject to taxes, nothing requires them to spend the money, which is kind of an interesting concept. People think, well, I got to withdraw it, I got to put it in the checking account, and I got to put it towards something. Well, actually, you don't. You have a couple more options. And if it's not needed, here's the thing. Encourage your client or your prospect to consider redirecting the funds into a non-qualified annuity that will continue to grow tax deferred until they need the income, if ever. Now, depending on the age of your client and the size of his or her nest egg, RMD amounts can vary quite a bit. Now, I'm going to go over a couple concepts here. This first one is going to apply to clients with an RMD of less than $10,000. Okay, let's take a look at the chart here. For RMDs, $10,000 to $19,999. Got a couple options for you when it comes to accumulation. First, let's talk about the fixed indexed annuity option. We've got our Performance Choice series. We even have a plus version of the product that offers a premium bonus to your clients, which is nice. So we have a showcased here that gives an immediate boost to the account value when you choose the plus version, which, by the way, we're going to go over the nuts and bolts of these here in a second, but I really want to talk about the positioning first. Now, the next option we have, it's our fixed product. It's our MIGA, our multi-year guaranteed annuity, which is the North American Guarantee Choice. Now, it's a simpler product that offers that premium protection like the fixed indexed annuity does. But here's what's nice, that you know exactly what your guaranteed growth will be. And we've got multiple chassis here, anywhere from a 3 to a 10-year. Now let's talk about RMDs that are going to be $20,000 and up. So we just talked about the smaller ones, where you can put them. Let's talk about the big fish here. When the bigger RMDs come out, we've got a product here. It's a fixed indexed annuity, and it's called our North American Charter Plus. This one comes with a great premium bonus, and here's what I want to showcase to you guys. This premium bonus duration is for 7 years, which is pretty outrageous. Generally, a bonus duration will last anywhere from 2 to 5 years. This one's 7. So that's really nice when you have those RMDs that you know are required to come out. Well, now you've got a home for them after you place the taxes, and you know that you've got a pretty hefty bonus duration for the first 7 years of the contract when you're putting those RMDs in. Okay, here's where the nuts and bolts come into play. And again, going to make sure that I keep this one brief. On the Performance Choice series, we had talked about that for the smaller RMDs when you're looking at a fixed indexed annuity option. This comes in an 8 and a 12-year chassis. Like I said, if you get the plus version, that means that you're going to have a bonus that is up front. When it comes to the bonus, I can tell you, we all know the internal cost of a bonus. Sometimes it can water down the rate a little bit. If the client is wanting max accumulation, I would go with Performance Choice 8 or Performance Choice 8, or I'm sorry, Performance Choice 8 or Performance Choice 12 if your client loves the idea of a bonus and they know that the rate is just going to be a little bit less, right, because of that bonus that's built in there, then I would go with a Performance Choice 8 Plus or 12 Plus. That's where it's nice for you all because you can really tailor this to exactly what your client's needs are and also what are their tastes, what are their preferences. Okay, so we talked about the guaranteed choice on the previous slide. That's a MIGA. That one's a super simple story, right? Let's go ahead and talk about the big kahuna here, the North American Charter Plus. For this, we've got a 10 and a 14-year chassis. So here's the visualization I want to give you guys. We know that bonus duration for any additional premiums going in, it's 7 years. So on that 10-year chassis, the first 7 of those 10 years, they're going to get a bonus applied to that non-qualified premium that you're putting in, right? After you take the RMD out of somewhere else, pay the taxes, it's going in there the first 7 years of that 10-year contract. Or think about the 14-year chassis. For that, well, you're talking about half the length of the surrender schedule. They're going to get a bonus applied to that additional premium that they're putting in. Now, here's what I want to make sure that I showcase here. For the smaller RMDs, when we talked about the performance choice, that works well for that product because the minimum premium required is 2,000 qualified or 10,000 non-qualified. When it comes to the big kahuna, right, your RMDs that are 20,000 or more, the Charter Plus works well because the minimum premium on this product is $20,000. Now, the next thing I'll go over when it comes to nuts and bolts, and then I'm going to clean it up here, it's going to be the bonus that's applied to it because it is banded by premium. So on the 10-year chassis, if your premium is under $75,000, it's a 5% bonus. If your premium starting off is $75,000 or higher, it's a 7% bonus, right? So chances are if you're starting that policy off with an RMD that's around the $20,000 mark, you're going to get the 5% bonus. But let's talk about the 14-year chassis. That's banded by premium, so if your premium is under $75,000, it's an 8% bonus. Pretty awesome. And if your premium is $75,000 or higher, it's a 10% bonus. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and clean it up on the nuts and bolts here. I just wanted to make sure that you all knew why these choices were made when we're thinking about diverting the premium from the RMD to go into a policy to have that work for the client. It's always an easy story to talk about a bonus. And when it comes to the Charter Plus, especially with it banded by premium, it's a really good story with that bonus duration. All right, quickly, the guaranteed choice, it's our MIGA. If they're wanting to know exactly what they'll earn every year, and you have a conservative client that loves the fixed route, we have a home for them when it comes to that product. All right, here's where the fun begins. We're going to talk about the materials that we have for the RMD puzzle. Here are 2 really neat tools that we've created for you all. One is an RMD puzzle brochure. It's going to go over some of the facts that we covered today. It's got a lot of really awesome information in there. And the other tool is going to be a fact finder that you can go over when it comes to your client or your prospects, which, by the way, I hope that you've written a couple names down, like I said at the beginning of the webinar, for any clients or prospects that you thought, you know what, I need to talk to them about positioning these RMDs. Do they need to maximize them? Do they need to divert them? What exactly do they need? And you can figure it out with this brochure and with this fact finder. And if you want access to these, super easy, just make a quick call into your marketer at Alpine Brokerage and they can email them right over. All right, so what are the next steps here? I tell you what, super simple. Call Alpine Brokerage. If you don't have the number written down, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you real quick. 866-777-2006. And I tell you what, have any of you had the pleasure of talking to Star when you call in? I just have to give a little shout out to her. I love calling Alpine and hearing her cheerful voice every time I call. She's a rock star. And with that, again, I'm extremely thankful for your time today. I know that takes you away from prospecting or, conducting meetings with your clients when you take the time to attend a webinar like this. No one's going to appreciate that more than me because I've done that myself. So again, I appreciate your time. And Chris, I really appreciate the opportunity that you gave me today. And with that, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Thank you very much, Tia. And for those of you who weren't paying a lot of close attention at the end there, the fact finders and the pieces she went over, we have several agents that are using those very effectively. One of the biggest challenges people have is really effectively figuring out what the best use of the client's money is and what their goals are. Where to go with some of the questions, and those fact finders are invaluable when you're sitting in front of the client to just kind of start the conversation and head it in the right direction. You don't have to know all the answers. Once you get that information, call our account executive here, and whether this is the right solution or a life product's right solution or whatever it is, we'll make sure we take the time to work through the case with you. We'll make sure you understand what it is you're going out to sell, and we'll, if you need it, we'll even give you the words that we use when we go out with our own clients to sell these products. So again, thank you, Tia, for taking the time. Thank you all for joining us. Any questions, please feel free to give us a call.